That detestable sight him much amazed, to see the unkindly imps of heaven accursed devour their dam, on whom, while so he gazed, having all satisfied their bloody thirst, their bellies swollen he saw with fullness burst, and bowels gushing forth. Well worthy end of such a drunk her life, the which them nursed. Now needeth him no longer labor spend. His foes have slain themselves, with whom he should contend. So, it's pretty gruesome. We know that what has happened is that the 1,000 little monster babies have then begun to drink up all the blood of their mother, and dam, that word dam means mother. And so basically it says they burst, with fullness they burst. So they actually blew up because they drank up so much blood. So very greedy, just what he would say would be like the Catholic Church. So think about how the mother image here is actually juxtaposed with the monster image, and might remind you a little bit of Grendel's mother. However, Grendel's mother actually did her evil out of revenge, whereas this mother just does it because she can, or just because she wants to. His lady, seeing all that chanced from far, and this would be, his lady would be Una, approached in haste to greet his victory, and said, Fair knight, born under happy star, who see your vanquished foes before you lie, well worthy be you of that armory, wherein ye have great glory won this day. So we know that he is now glorified, both in her eyes and the eyes of God, and proved your strength on a strong enemy, your first adventure, many such I pray, and henceforth ever wish that like succeed it may. So she's actually wishing that all of the things, all the battles that he has to have, that turn out like this. Then mounted he upon his steed again, and with the lady backward sought to wend that path he kept, which beaten was most plain, nay ever would to any by way bend, but still did follow one unto the end, the which at last out of the wood them brought. So forward on his way with God to friend, he passed forth, and new adventure sought. Long way he travelled before he heard of aught. So be thinking, it says, nay ever would to any byway bend. His path, this path, is going to be straight, the path that he is on, even if other pathways, like the path in the woods, are not. But this is the one he's going to follow. So with God as friend. So he knows that he has God on his side. And also I want you to remember he needs another syllable here, so it's going to be passed forth in order to get his syllable count right. At length they chanced to meet upon the way an aged sire in long black weeds. And we talked about this word weeds during the Renaissance period. Weeds means clothing, and I did read a poem to you at the beginning of the year written by Tennyson called In Memoriam, and he talks about his sorrow wrapping around him like weeds, so like a cloak or a coat or any kind of clothing. So just remember that word. His feet all bare, his beard all hoary gray, and by his belt his book he hanging had. Sober he seemed, and very sagely sad, and to the ground his eyes were lowly bent, simple in show, and void of malice bad. And all the way he prayed as he went, and often knocked his breast as one that did repent. So here they are, they're on their path, they're going on again, and they meet an old man. And just by the looks of him, he's got a beard, he's got a book that's hanging from his belt, he seems pretty sober, which means serious, and his eyes are on looking towards the ground. That gives all the evidence of a monk. He's very simple in the way he looks, and the way he acts, and the way he talks. And of course it says all the way he prayed, so that's another clue right there. But of course, as we know, Edmund Spencer shows us time and time again that what we think is good and pure and right quite often is not. He fair the knight saluted, lauding low, which is really bowing low, who fair him quitted as that courteous was, and after asked him if he did know of strange adventures which abroad did pass. So they're asking him, what's going on? Have you heard of anything? And he says, Ah, my dear son, quoth he, how should a last silly old man that lives in a hidden cell, bidding his beads all day for trespass? So bidding his beads would be something that might be more familiar for those of you who are Catholic. So those are rosary beads, and so bidding his beads would be simply praying with his beads. Tidings of war and worldly trouble tell. With Holy Father sits not with such things to mell. So he really doesn't feel like he would know if anything bad were going on in the world, because all he does is pray. But if of danger with hereby doth dwell, and homebred evil ye desire to hear, of a strange man I can you tidings tell, that wasteth all this country far and near. Of such, said he, I chiefly do inquire, and shall you well reward to show the place, in which that wicked wight his days doth wear. For to all knighthood it is foul disgrace, that such a cursed creature lives so long a space. So everything is pretty much unknown to this man. He's not really quite sure if danger's around. He really wouldn't know. And white his days is spend his days. And remember the word for to all knighthood. That would be it would be a disgrace to the knight's code. Far hence, quoth he, in wasteful wilderness his dwelling is, by which no living wight may ever pass. And a wight is a creature. Now, said the lady, drawing toward night, and well I wot that of your later find ye all forewearied be, for what so strong but wanting rest will also want of night. And what she's saying here is, we really need to rest, Red Cross. We really need to. And what the monk has done is he has actually asked the two of them to spend the night with him so that he can give them some rest and some food. So that's what's happening in this part. Then with the sun, take, sir, your timely rest, and with new day new work at once begin. Untroubled night, they say, gives counsel best. Right well, sir knight, ye have advised been, quoth then that aged man. The way to win is wisely to advise. Now, day is spent, therefore with me ye may take up your inn for this same night. So with that godly father to his home they went. So, what he's saying here is, with me, you can take up your inn. So you can take up some lodging. It is wisely to advise or to take thought. Interesting that godly father is not capitalized here. So that's kind of interesting. But definitely you can tell that this monk would like them to spend the night. A little lowly hermitage it was, down in a dale, hard by a forest side, far from resort of people that did pass and travel to and fro. A little wide, there was a holy chapel edified, wherein the hermit duly wont to say his holy things each morn and eventide. There by a Christian stream did gentle play, which from sacred fountains welled forth away. So basically here, they're describing the scene. He definitely lives in a little house, almost like a little hut. And there was nothing really grand about it at all. It's a lowly hermitage. It's down in a dale. It's far from other people. And there's even a little chapel there. And that chapel is a place where he would go to pray. and use his rosary beads. So he makes it seem like a very humble dwelling. And we can see from the next stanza that when they arrive, that it is just a little house. Arrived there, the little house they fill, nay, look for entertainment where none was. Rest is their feast, and all things at their will. The noblest mind the best contentment has, with fair discourse the evening so they pass. For that old man of pleasing words had store, and well could file his tongue, as smooth as glass. And that's a hint right there. When you think about the serpent who goes into the Garden of Eden, has a tongue very smooth. He knows just exactly what to say. They're not looking for entertainment. There wasn't any. But rest was what they really wanted. So rest was really the most positive thing that they could find there. He told of saints and popes, and evermore he strode an Ave Maria after and before. So he knows everything to say that would actually help out and make it seem more like he is a monk. And if you bear with me for a minute. All right. The drooping night thus creepeth on them fast, and the sad humor loading their eyelids, as messenger of Morpheus on them cast. Sweet solemn dew, to which to sleep them bids, unto their lodging then his guest he rids, where when all drowned in deadly sleep he finds, he to his study goes, and there amidst his magic books and arts of sundry kinds, he seeks out mighty charms to trouble sleepy minds. So now we know Morpheus, which is the classical god of dreams, night is coming on them and everyone goes to sleep. But what happens is now this monk, after he knows that they're drowned in deadly sleep, he actually goes to his study, and this whole section here is very important because now he goes to get his black magic books and to conjure up spirits, which of course is something that would be completely a surprise to Una and the Red Cross Knight. So he goes to his magic books, and it's very similar to Dr. Faustus, which was written also during the Renaissance period by Marlowe, about a doctor, Dr. Faustus, who goes into his study. He actually conjures up black magic because he wants to be the smartest person in the world. He wants to have every experience that he possibly can have. And so he conjures up the devil to ask him to help him out. And the devil, of course, grants him his wish, but he says it's not without a price. And the price is that he gets his soul when all is said and done. So, of course, we know that this happens to Faust, and just so we're a little bit worried because it's the same kind of thing here. Then choosing out a few words most horrible, let none them read, thereof did verses frame, with which and other spells like terrible, he bade awake black Pluto's grisly dame, and cursed heaven and spake, reproachful shame of highest God, the Lord of life and light, a bold bad man that dared to call by name great Gorgon, prince of darkness, and dead night, at which Cocytus quakes, and Styx is put to flight. And you probably remember Cocytus and Styx from Dante's Inferno. So those would be not new to you. And also Pluto, Pluto's grisly dame. So Pluto is actually the god of the underworld, and Proserpina is his wife, so that would be his grisly dame, and she is the patron of witchcraft. So that's why he actually wakes up Pluto and wakes her up, and